You're killing people.
I'm sorry.
I can hear myself.
Yeah, I'm getting
Someone got their speakers on. Right, anyway. Guys, Deadpool 3, spoilery details about Wolverine's MCU debut have been revealed, and they sound like crap.
Oh,
I'm just going to say it from the off.
No.
I don't think it sounds good. No, listen. Let me explain. Let me explain why I don't think it sounds good. I don't think it sounds good because it follows the trend of Marvel that have been limiting them. You have to have watched a TV series to sort of understand certain bits and pieces. There's elements of Loki that go into this, basically. And so, again, it's that issue with Marvel, by and large, that the interconnectedness also drags them down. Because when you produce something that's boring or not well liked, people check out. So, let's check it out, right? So, here it is. It's all rumor at this point in time, but still, Deadpool 3 is about the TVA, which is the Time Variance Authority, which is literally what Loki's all about, picking up the prime versions of each hero to create a multiversal army to fight the Kangs. And they picked Hugh Jackman's Wolverine to recruit, but he's not fully on board. That is what the movie is about.
The whole movie is just about that?
So I don't think they actually fight the Kangs, right? It's just recruiting people. So it's an advert as well.
Is it a buddy comedy then?
For the next movie. It's an advert for the next movie.
They're going to run around and tell jokes for an hour and a half?
Yeah, well, pretty much. So they say this. Someone tweets him, says, love when Deadpool is about another character. When a Deadpool movie is about another character. It's a Deadpool Wolverine movie, not just a Deadpool movie. Deadpool just tags along in this one.
So he's not even the main character in his own movie?
Oh, why do they constantly do this? They constantly name. Why does Disney and Marvel?
They did it with Ahsoka, didn't they? So
they name one thing, and they do something else. I don't understand this, Nate.
There's more.
Oh.
To be clear, Deadpool 3 is still very much a Deadpool movie. His antics with Cable's time machine caught the TVA's attention, and he became their prisoner. When Deadpool learns about the TVA's plan for a multiversal army, it gives him the motivation to escape, and it goes on to say to try to recruit Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I think it sounds like crap. I'm not gonna lie. You'd have had to have watched Loki to understand who the TVA are. They've never been in anything else. This will be their MCU debut proper in film. It makes sense now as to why we were saying we were hearing that the final 2 episodes of Loki season 2 were going to be groundbreaking, because I'm assuming Deadpool turns up. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Deadpool turns up, gets in prison, and it leads off to Deadpool 3. Or, well, because then they were saying that also ties into the Marvels. The Marvels are said to have a cameo from Deadpool as well. So fuck this film, honestly. I don't know. It just sounds like crap. I'm sick of having to watch all these bloody TV shows.
Same.
To watch the movies as well. And I think a lot of other people are as well.
Yeah. And didn't Hugh Jackman say he was just coming back to reprise his role just this one last time in this one movie? So if
maybe they gave 2 dump trucks of money rather than one.
Yeah. I mean, so if that's the case and this is just trying to recruit him, I mean, do they ultimately end up failing on recruiting him and he's just not going to be involved?
No, apparently it works. Because he's not initially on board, but he kind of gets on board, I'm guessing.
This is the one Marvel movie that I was looking forward to. Out of all the crap they've been throwing out there, this is the one that I was actually looking forward to. But the more and more I hear about the leaks and the rumors and stuff behind this thing, the more I'm really not feeling it.
Part of the problem with this homework storytelling is that there's not any real payoffs. All there are like little references and little jangling keys here and there. There's no real payoff. There's no compelling reason to watch, to go through this journey of investing the time through the TV shows, through the movies, and to do this. There's never a payoff, and there's no way that I'm going to commit to this and go through this again when I've done it over and over and over again and not had any payoffs. I've done it in the Marvel side. I've done it in Star Wars. I can't do it anymore. I just can't do it.
Culture
sounds terrible. Terrible. I don't want to. I'm with Mike. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to. First of all, I'm not going to watch the end of Loki. Loki lost me after the second episode. I was like, this is dumb. And it's boring. And I'm like, none of this matters. And it's nonsensical. And I'm tired of that. I mean, you know, I sound like Cartman, but the truth of the matter is, anything they're doing with the multiverse, anything they're doing with time travel, screws up everything else that they've ever done. You know, and if they were following like if they were logically following the premise that every time you go back in time or every time you move in time, you basically are creating a new timeline. So every time you do something, you fractionalize your timeline. That would make more sense to me. But that's not what's happening. Right. And they can't even get their lore right in their own series. Loki broke the lore. I mean, I'm looking at all the lore being broken. And by the way, time travel, because of the way they describe how timelines work, time travel for Loki to go back in time to just in that first, was it the first episode where he goes back and he meets Kike Kwan, right? So he goes back and meets that character and then instills like a memory in him by having a conversation with him. And then that memory shows up like hundreds of years, thousands of years later, or however time works there. I'm like, well, you've just destroyed your own logic processes. There was so many problems there. And I'm like, and now you're going to foist that into another movie. The audience is tired of the multiverse. They've been tired of it since before they rolled into Phase Dive. Phase Dive is gonna suck. I mean, and you look at Girl Power movie, this Captain Marvel thing, the Marvels or whatever. That sounds quite garbage, and it is going to heavily rely on the idea of the multiverse, and nobody likes it. You literally are making products for things that involve things that nobody likes, that most everybody's tired of. If I took away one key point from the Panderverse episode of South Park, it was that we're tired of this. The audience is tired of tropes. We're tired of time travel, and we're tired of multiverses because it breaks the story in a way that you can't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, I like the multiverse stuff, but it was only done good in Spider-Man. Every other iteration of it that they're doing has been garbage. But man, they nailed it in Spider-Man. I really like that movie.
Well, and the only time travel that made sense was done in Doctor Strange. It's the only time it was done. Doctor Strange, if you feature him as the only character that can move forward and backward in time to analyze each and every action and every outcome, then that makes sense. Right. But his act of doing that every time, and think about how many times it was it Endgame or was it I think it was Endgame.
Endgame was the time travel.
Yeah. So he's like, this only works out one way.
Yeah.
You have to die, Tony. So, and that's great and all, except that he's the only character that should be able to do that. And because he did that and there were no ramifications there, then why didn't that have an effect on the TVA? See, I got 1,000 questions and nobody's answering them. So,
well, it sounds like doo-doo to me. So, yay.